Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to figure out what k is equal to when we start shifting it. So it's kind of like what we did in the last one, kind of looking at what's happening with a particular function, and we want to figure out where do certain points move. So notice, in this particular case, we have an asymptote that's located approximately like right there, which is, you'll see that y equals 2. And that's really important because we can see that really everything is just shifted up 2. So that means k in this particular example just equals 2. Pretty straightforward. Okay, growth or decay. So all we do is we look, of course, if it's greater than 1, whether it's absolute value, we take a look at that and see, okay, that's got to be a growth function. So this is going to be a growth function 5/4. That's greater than 1. So that's growth. 0.75 is between 0 and 1. So that's going to be decay. We can see in here that our number is 4/5. 4/5 is less than 1, so that's going to be a decaying function as well. Okay, and then finally, what is the function in the graph given this parent function? So here we have this parent function, 4 to the x power, and here's g of x. So we're trying to figure out what is g of x. Well, number one is that the negative will tell us on the outside will tell us that it shifts around the x-axis. So the most stuff that I'm going to kind of point out here that I want to make sure that you understand as well. So that negative is going to come out there. So we've got the negative. It looks like this point here is still just shifted over, but notice that I can kind of see my 1 over b here. I mean my b value here. When I go over 1, I go 1, 2, 3, 4 down. So I can kind of see that it's going to be -4 here. So we can kind of get what that value is. So that means my b value looks like it equals 4. Because of how fast it's going, that's that 4 right there. And so nothing's really changed. It's definitely not going down any faster or doing anything else. So it looks like it's just going to be a negative. So in here, it's just going to be 4 to the x. Of course, in this particular case, it's just really just shifting over there. And notice that it doesn't really shift anywhere else. So notice this still is at 0, -1, which just caused it to kind of shift over that x-axis. And that's what that negative sign did. Now, just to kind of remember, if the negative's in front of the x, it will shift around the y, a vertical line. If the negative's in front of the x, if the negative's in front of the function, it shifts over a horizontal line. And then we just kind of figure out how it's doing it based on what that line is. And so we can see what's happening there. So it'd be just as straightforward as that. That negative is the only thing that would be different. And that's it. So now you should know how to graph those functions, should know how to recognize the functions and be able to figure out what those functions are.